What up, leader? Welcome to the Lead Strong video series, where we'll be introducing you to this very powerful system on emotional intelligence. The system that we use is the Insights Discovery System, and it's a system that's foundational to all of our coaching, with leaders at the entry level, new leaders, and leaders all the way up to the C-suite level. And we use this foundational system to help systematically and strategically help these leaders accomplish everything that they want to accomplish. My name is Reggie Carney. I am the CEO, the founder, and the lead coach here at Lead Strong. And we are passionate about leaders, teams, and organizations and helping them to maximize their potential as they accomplish everything that they dream of accomplishing. I'm delighted to be kicking off this video series with you. But before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the videos in this series. Now, in this first video, we're going to be breaking down the basic discovery wheel. But before we do that, let me give you a little backstory on this whole Insights Discovery system. The system is based on the work of Carl Jung. Sometimes we refer to it as Jungian theory. And Carl Jung, just like we are at Lead Strong, was very passionate about people. And he did a lot of research to understand and identify ways that we are alike and ways that we are different. And he came up with this whole concept of maximizing human potential, because that's ultimately what we want to do to be the best that we can be in this life that we're living. And he also identified that we can't do this in a vacuum. We can't do this by ourselves. We need the tension of others who are different than us to be able to bring out the best in us. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychotherapist and psychologist who had a passion for people, just like we do here at Lead Strong. And he did a lot of research where we were concerned, where human beings were concerned, trying to identify where we were alike and where we were different, all for the purpose of maximizing our human potential. He also identified that we couldn't maximize our human potential in and of ourselves. We need the differences associated with other people to be able to bring the best out of us. And that's the tension that we're going to explore as we navigate the very practical uses of this powerful Insights Discovery system. So now that we've got the backstory on Insights Discovery, it is based on Jungian theory. Now we're going to explore how this basic discovery wheel came about. So as Carl Jung explored and researched and grappled with human beings, he came up with three functions. Came up with the attitude function, which differentiates introversion and extroversion. The decision-making function differentiates how we make decisions based on facts or based on feelings. Sometimes we refer to it as head-based decision-making and heart-based decision-making. And then he differentiates intuition and sensing, which is how we take in and process information. Those three functions help us to form the basic discovery wheel, which is central to all the work that we do with leaders and teams. And it has everything to do with the adaptability, the flexibility, and the agility associated with being emotionally intelligent. And that's what ultimately sets us up for success with others. So the first function is where you slice the wheel. If we slice the wheel vertically, where we've got a right side and a left side, on the right side where the red and the yellow come together, we've got the extroversion side. And so words that come to mind when we think about the extroversion side are energetic, outgoing, enthusiastic, vocal. The introversion side is where the green and the blue come together. So words that come to mind when we think about that introversion energy are quiet, reserved. They have an inward. That introversion has an inward focus. Now, what I often say about this continuum between extroversion and introversion is that none of us are either one or the other. There is a dynamic element associated with this continuum between extroversion and introversion. And it's situational. So even if our home base is on one side, we have the ability to flow through to the other side. I'm an electrical engineer, and I know that the reason that we have lights and air conditioning and power in our homes is because current is bouncing back between those two polarities. Well, as individuals, as people, we as human beings, we are also dynamic. So even though my home base or your home base might be extroversion, you do have those introversion moments. So we ebb and we flow based on individuals that we're interacting with and based on situations that we are finding ourselves in. So the point here that I want to make between extroversion and introversion is that we're not one or the other. We are a complex mixture of both of them, even though we have that side that more reflects who we are as individuals. So the next function is the decision-making function, and that function comes when we slice the circle horizontally, and we have a top and a bottom, right? And so at the top we've got where the blue and the red comes together. That is the fact-based decision maker. Sometimes we refer to it as the head-based decision maker because we make decisions based on what's going on in our heads. At the bottom, where the yellow and the green come together, we're making decisions based on feelings, based on that human component. We normally say we're making decisions based on that heart component. And I'll tell you the same thing that I said about introversion and extroversion. None of us are one or the other. We're a complex mixture of both. We are dynamic in this life that we are living. So even though we might have a home base, and my home base is more toward that head-based decision-making energy, I do have the ability, and you do too, to flow between those based on the person, based on the individual, based on the situation that you find yourself in. Now, those two basic functions give us a glimpse into the color characteristics associated with each of these quadrants. So when we combine the fact-based or the head-based decision maker with extroversion, we come up with fiery red energy. That's in the top right quadrant. And that fiery red energy is about being bold and courageous, decisive and quick, right? And I'm sure there were some names and some faces that came to mind when you thought about leaders who fit into that dominant category. Sunshine yellow is in the bottom right quadrant, and it combines the heart-based decision maker, the feeling-based decision maker with extroversion. That's sunshine yellow. Characteristics associated with sunshine yellow are enthusiastic, energetic, outgoing, social. Right? And again, I'm sure names are coming to mind. I'm sure faces are popping into your head. So if we flip to the introversion side and we stay down with that heart-based feelings decision maker, we get earth green. And so earth green we refer to as that Mother Nature energy. And it's caring, concerned, considerate, very genuine energy, that earth green energy. And then at the top left quadrant, where we combine the introversion with that head-based decision maker, that fact-based decision maker, we get cool blue. And that's what I like to refer to as my engineering energy. And that energy is all about systems, process, structure. It's about analysis. So those are the four energies associated with the basic discovery wheel. Before I go any further, let me introduce that third function, which I haven't spoken to yet, where Carl Jung differentiates sensing and intuition. And this is how we take in and process information, and many of us do that differently. Intuition is big picture, taking in and processing information. It's conceptual. Versus sensing represents those finer points and those finer details associated with whatever we're doing. So these two functions, sensing and intuition, can be found in each of the color energies around the basic discovery wheel. And so what all that says is that just because you and I might have the same dominant color energy, we might show up differently. I might show up with a bent towards intuition, and you might show up with a leaning toward sensing, which actually shows up differently in our teams and in our organizations. Just a couple of 2 or 3 things that I want to point out as we have formed this basic discovery wheel, which is foundational to all of the work that we do. And as we navigate, we keep with 4 colors because it's easy and it's concrete for us. Many of us have been grappling with, dealing with, working with colors for a long time. 2, 3, 4 years old. That's what makes colors concrete for us. And so just remembering these colors and the characteristics associated with them will help us to navigate and to adapt and to flex in the situations that we find ourselves in. Now here's the thing. We all have all 4 of these colors circulating and operating on the inside of us to varying degrees. Okay, so I might have a dominant color energy, and then a secondary, and then a tertiary, and then a least preferred. And all that's saying is that we have a largest muscle, we have a second largest muscle, third largest muscle, and then we have a weaker muscle. And that is the case for all of us. So in that larger muscle, in that dominant color energy preference, that's the muscle that we can access with relative ease. The second one we can probably access pretty easily, but once we go down to tertiary and least preferred, it becomes a little harder for most of us to access and to use those energies. All right, so we all have all of these energies, and that's very important because that is central to us being able to connect, to relate, and to speak another person's language. The other thing that I want to point out about these color energies is that there are opposites at play around this basic discovery wheel. And so we've got 2 sets of opposites in that yellow, that cool blue energy and that sunshine yellow energy. And then we've got the opposites between fiery red and earth green. And what I like to say is that opposites attract, right? I've actually added on to that expression to also say that opposites then attack once they attract. And our goal in helping leaders and teams and organizations navigate is to make sure that where those opposites come together, that they're making beautiful and amazing music. We've got the blue and the yellow, cool blue, sunshine yellow, opposites. We've got the fiery red and the earth green, opposites at play. Many of you have heard that expression, opposites attract. I've got a little add-on for you that I've learned through navigating these very delicate situations in business. I often say that opposites attract, and then not too long after they attack, because the very thing that intrigued and excited them about that opposite is the very same thing that irritates them to no end, irritates us to no end. So the magic in this system is to make sure that we've got relationship, that we've got connection, and that we've got system that helps us to remain in that attract phase where we are valuing and embracing the differences that happen across these diagonals. Because these opposites can produce beautiful music if we can just keep them on the same page. The final thing that I want to share about this basic discovery wheel that rounds it all out is that there are not only good day energies associated with each of these color energies. There are what we like to call bad day energies. because you've all heard the expression that even too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And if any of us identify our dominant preference and we just stay there, we stick there, we get stuck in that moment, then that's the point at which it becomes a bad thing. And so when we think about bad day energies, and all these color energies have them, for fiery red energy, it might become abusive and abrasive. For that sunshine yellow energy, it might become erratic and scattered. For that earth green energy, it might become overly reliant or overly accommodating, right? Just giving in to everything, plotting. In that cool blue energy, in that overuse space on a bad day, could come across as cold, distant, or indecisive. So we've got the good and the bad day associated with all of our color energies. So our challenge as leaders is to be aware enough and adaptive enough to stay out of the bad day energy so that we can remain connected and unified with our team so that we're positioning ourselves to accomplish everything that we want to accomplish. So that's the basic discovery wheel. And so we've talked about the three functions, Carl Jung's three functions, and how they've helped us to form the basic discovery wheel. We introduced each of the color energies and their good day and their bad day characteristics. We've talked about opposites at play, the two sets of opposites at play, and how we want to thoughtfully and intentionally keep them on the same page. Don't forget to subscribe, because you don't want to miss the next video where we're going to take a deeper dive, and we're going to start with a snapshot of these color energies, and then we're going to talk about the color energies in action, which speaks directly to emotional intelligence and the agility that we all have to be successful individually, within our teams, and within our organizations. The bottom line is being able to accomplish everything that we want to accomplish within our organization. And the Insights Discovery System is our way, our mechanism to be able to facilitate emotionally intelligent leadership. And we're going to be here to support you and to encourage you and to cheer you on as you learn the system and as you learn to apply the system to help you, your team, and your organization accomplish everything that you want to accomplish. So we've covered a lot of information today, and I know you have questions. So feel free to leave your questions in the comments. We'll be sure to read through all of those questions and respond appropriately. But I want to leave you with a question. And my question to you is, what do you think your dominant color energy is, and why do you feel like that's your dominant color energy? So fam, that's video number 1. We look forward to seeing you in video number 2, where we're going to be building on this foundation that we laid today. It's all about emotionally intelligent leadership. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for hanging in there with us. We'll see you next time, fam. And until then, embrace your day fully.